Welcome to the Recovery Cast, brought to you by Hills and Rangers Private.
Welcome to the Recovery Cast, brought to you by Hills and Rangers Private. My name is Alexis, and I am a former alcoholic and addict, now in recovery. The Recovery Cast is a podcast created by people in recovery from alcoholism and addiction for people in recovery from alcoholism and addiction. This podcast is meant as a support tool for those in recovery, and everyone who participates in the podcast is in an active recovery program. We are not affiliated with any one recovery methodology and will focus on a variety of different types of recovery, including 12-step recovery, otherwise known as Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, Smart Recovery, Celebrate Recovery, Recovery Dharma, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, and more. And a quick disclaimer, this podcast is intended to be informative. A podcast alone cannot support your sobriety and recovery, so we suggest it only as one component of a daily recovery routine. For more information on what recovery is, go to www.rehab.melbourne. I am so sorry. I thought I had it then. Guys, bear with me.
How is reading an introduction so funny? I wish I was at that level in my life where, like, I was trying to read something and just be laughing about it.
Oh, God. Like, yeah,
well
totally
done.
Professional here.
Yeah,
Thanks
slick.
for hiring me, Hills and Rangers Private. Love you guys.
Well,
shout out.
You're a human being. That's what we need, a real human being.
Yeah, like,
we don't want, well, I could press a button and have the disclaimer, ready to go. But, we couldn't really do that. It wouldn't be that good. Anyway, Here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Hi,
Here we are.
Ollie.
Hi.
Hey.
So we're up to December the 14th and no, it's not. December the 15th, sorry. My apologies. The joy of sharing from the JFT Just for Today. There is a spiritual principle of giving away what we have been given in Narcotics Anonymous in order to keep it. By helping others to stay clean, we enjoy the benefit of the spiritual wealth that we have found. Basic text, page 49. Time and again in our recovery, others have freely shared with us what was freely shared with them. Perhaps we were the recipients of a 12th step call. Maybe someone picked us up and took us to our first meeting. It could be that someone bought us dinner when we were new. All of us have been given time, attention, and love by our fellow members. We may have asked someone, "What can I do to repay you?" And the answer we received was probably a suggestion that we do the same for a newer member when we were able. As we maintain our clean time and recovery, we find ourselves wanting to do for others the things that someone did for us, and happy that we can. If we heard the message while in a hospital or institution, we can join our local H&I subcommittee. Perhaps we can volunteer on the NA helpline, or we can give of our time, attention, and love to a newcomer we are trying to help. We've been given much in our recovery. One of the greatest of these gifts is the privilege of sharing with others what's been shared with us with no expectation of reward. It's a joy to find we have something that can be of use to others, and that joy is multiplied when we share it. Today, we can do so freely and gratefully. Just for today, I have been given much in my recovery, and I'm deeply grateful for it. I will take joy in being able to share it with others as freely as it was shared with me. That was wordy as, that was a lot to read. I mean, we're talking a lot about the 12th step this month, and we've probably talked about it a lot. But one of my favourite things, I'll start the ball rolling, what I do to share my recovery with others and share. I mean, it's not about sharing my recovery. It's about giving others the opportunity to have a shot at recovery. I love being a chauffeur to people in recovery who are like in early recovery. If somebody needs a lift home from a meeting or a lift to a meeting or just any help in that way, then that's how that's one simple way that I can give freely to them. I buy people coffees, I buy people lunches, I buy them NA literature, I do H&I go to rehabs. I go to the rehab that I was in and do H&I. So I actually go in and and give back that way, because I was a recipient of not a 12-step call necessarily. I mean, yes, because, my sponsor actually came to do a presentation in the rehab that I was in, and that's how I heard about NA, and I've done that, and it really works. That's how I was introduced to NA. That for the first time, I never walked in of my own accord. I needed to be shown. So yeah, how do you do it, Alexis?
How do I share?
How do you like practice that 12th step of sharing your recovery or giving away what you've been given?
So this is something that I've just been experimenting with since I finished the 12th step only a couple of months ago, really.
Cool.
And I started sponsoring a couple of young women as well in and around the same time. And there's other things that I've started to learn about that didn't really count as something as me sharing the 12th step or giving back to the program from which I've gotten so much from. I like to be able to share my experience with, raw, full, like filthy, depraved beauty and honesty. I have shared some horrific things from the floor, but always in a way that, I've only ever gotten good feedback, and I've only ever gotten people being like, thank you for sharing that, and I like to be able to open up the space for there to be that deeper conversation, because I say, a lot, sorry.
Me too.
Fuck.
I have those,
so I like to be able to share the rawness that was my journey. I like to be able to connect with women in the rooms who have, and even some men in the rooms and non-binary folk in the rooms who have experienced the same things that I have. I like to be able to connect with some of the younger members. And, it's not even about an age thing. But yeah, I don't really know. There's a lot of things that I do, but it's all like tiny little things, that to me don't seem to be that much and just kind of come up in the flow of being an active member of the program. Openly sharing, honestly sharing, helping set up meetings, having discussions, having coffees with somebody who is struggling, opening up space to be a pillar of support as a woman in recovery is also a huge thing. There's a lot of strong women in the fellowship, and I like being able to think of myself as one of them.
Yeah. Well, you got to look after, the women.
Yeah.
Look after each other, and
women for the women.
When I see someone come into recovery and they're vulnerable, and I don't know, I was so scared and so broken, and to be sort of scooped up into, the sort of under the wing of someone who's walked that path before you is really powerful. It's really great. That's how we do it, and that's how I was looked after.
That's how I was also looked after, especially in regards to my sponsor. She has a similar story to my own. Different worlds, but a similar story for where our addiction took us. And I really needed that in a sponsor. I needed to know that somebody had been where I had been and had gotten out and on the other side of it, and that it was possible. That coming from a trauma background, domestic violence, hard class A drug addiction. Yeah, it was an eye opener to see wow, she's got it. So
it's interesting that you say that, because my first sponsor was the one that I connected with, who did H&I in the rehab that I was in. He was nothing like me. I'm plant-based. This guy is carnivorous. He lives on steak. He's, older than me. He used the hard drugs, TM. He did crime, and I'm this sort of the exact opposite of that, really, in a lot of ways. And I just really connected with him on the basis of the spiritual program that he worked. He seemed to be so at ease with everything around him, and despite his story being very shocking and very, like, there was that shock value of, oh my God, you did that, you know? Like, I can't break anonymity because I can't tell the stories, but man, there were some amazing stories of, you know, the disaster of where addiction took this man. And, you know, he just had it all together. He was spiritual. He was sitting there serene as anything in meetings. And I just thought, I know that inner tormented, sort of depraved dereliction. I was so broken, and I said to myself, I just fucking want that. I want what he's got. I want to be able to sit on a chair and not have my knee bouncing up and down, or be sitting cross-legged on a chair like I'm a coiled up spring about to just go like boing and just like go everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's who I am. And I wanted this thing that he had. I thought I could get that through drugs and taking the kinds of drugs that would send me calm and send me to sleep and make me really subdued. I wanted that so much because I could never get a break from my mind. I could never get a break from my thoughts and just my ADHD and my disease, and I just wanted everything to shut up. And this man was like that in the past, and then he found a way to do it. So I gravitated to that so quickly. And you know what it's like now. I see people come in to recovery and they have that same energy, that same raw, real energy and uncomfortability that I had. And I really, really love sharing. You know, this is the joy of sharing. It's not even me talking about my experience, but it's the joy of giving freely to people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get this. It's really kind of weird, the feeling I get. It's beautiful because I don't expect anything back, and people gave that to me. You know, people bought me coffees, they bought me lunch, they drove me around,
Gave me cigarettes.
yeah, I reckon the amount of cigarettes I had in the
Can I
first.
bum a smoke?
Yeah, well, you know, like that's just
the way
the
it
freedom,
goes.
and you know, there is a time in our lives where we are then able to give back.
Absolutely.
And we are able to afford
Yeah.
our own cigarettes, and
Yeah.
and then we can share them with the people who are really struggling, because that makes a huge difference. And where else are you going to get it if it's not at an NA meeting? Because, you know, I remember, you know, I don't smoke anymore. I've quit through using my recovery program to that addiction as well. But it was often really difficult to get a cigarette when I didn't have any cigarettes, and it's, you know, it was a need that I required. And everybody's so generous because everybody's been there, everybody's been that person.
Yeah, so I had quit smoking for 6 months, and I have just started smoking again. Oh, acting out.
Well, what?
But
you know,
I will quit again. I will quit again.
It's not going to kill you in a week, but
No.
relapsing
would, absolutely.
substances will, you know, or can.
Yeah.
So
That's okay.
it's one thing at a time.
Absolutely. You made an interesting point earlier about how you were saying that your sponsor was like the polar opposite to you. My sponsor is like that in a lot of ways as well. And she also sits there in her spiritual, you know, being, and she just exudes this, like, I don't know, image of like she's centered and she's calm and she's full of acceptance. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and that's what I liked about her as well. And there were also times when I was sharing step work with her where I was anxious about what she would think of me with some of the things, especially some of the things that I admitted to and I acknowledged in my
that you
step
shared.
4.
Yeah.
And she'd just sit back and she'd be like, "Hey, honey, me too.
Yeah.
Me
I
too.
did that.
Been there. Yep.
Yeah.
Like I've been there. I did that. I got the postcards. I got the T-shirt. You know, I came back. And that was a crucial part for me to feel
Gave you
like,
trust, and
the way that
Yeah.
it built our relationship.
you were so vulnerable to her.
Yeah.
When a lot of us don't, you know, we're so embarrassed or deeply ashamed of the stuff that we did. You know, I said,
Like-
you know, I stole from my mum. He's like, yeah, man, me too. Like I stole thousands of dollars from my mum. You know,
Definitely.
and then I denied it. You know, and I'm like, oh, thank God it's not just me.
Yeah.
I thought I was a monster. I was like, well,
Right?
yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit. But now you can make amends for that and not steal anymore.
Well, that's it. Yeah. It right sizes you.
Yeah.
You know, being able to share that with somebody and being able to develop that relationship with a sponsor is just, it's amazing. Like, I absolutely adore mine. I've only had one, so I feel very blessed.
I had a sponsor relapse. That was
okay,
shit
I've
house.
heard-
And you know
heard
what?
about
Now
that.
I'm doing 12th step calls for that person, and I take them out for coffee and chat to them when they need it, and that's like the ultimate sacrifice. Like,
Isn't it?
I'm going to
Yeah.
show you how to do it, and I'm going to show you how not to do it. Hope you learn from that. I mean, it's totally not like that was not his intention, I don't think, but I think, you know, it just showed me that it can happen to anyone. Relapse does happen.
Yeah.
And
we can't put people on pedestals and think that, you know, like they've got like this sort of recovery and like they're doing all this and like, you know, that like they've made it. Like anything can change at any given moment.
I thought
you
he
know?
had, and I thought, you know, there's always it's always a possibility that you know it does happen, and just
It
because you're
does.
clean for a number of years doesn't mean that you can't fuck up and have it fall over. And look, that perhaps I think the likelihood maybe goes down as you get further into recovery, but it never goes away.
Yeah, and that again goes back to the fact that this is a chronic and lifelong illness, you know?
Yeah.
Like we're dealing with this for the rest of our lives. It's how we're wired.
My addiction's doing push-ups in the car park. You know. Shut up, Jeff.
Old
I
mate.
hate that analogy.
Yeah,
Push-ups
so
in
do
the
I,
corner.
So do I. Every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
My addiction's doing burpees in the treehouse. I don't know.
That's funny.
We're going to talk about what to expect in early recovery after the break.
You're listening to the Recovery Cast by Hills and Rangers Private. Now playing daily on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. For more shows, visit us at www.rehab.melbourne.
My addiction's playing jump rope in the basement. What's your addiction doing, Alexis?
My addiction is doing hip thrusters with 80 kilo sandbags in the corner. Yeah.
Isn't that what you do?
Yeah, that is what I do. Not 80 kilos though.
Oh,
Not 80
yeah, okay.
kilos.
Your addiction's strong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's weird.
Okay, so we are going to talk about what you can expect on a psychological and emotional and a physiological level in early recovery.
And spiritual level.
Oh, spiritual. Yeah, I forget that part. A little casual atheist / Satanist here. Kidding, guys, kidding.
No, you're not. All right. Anger. Big angers.
Fear-based anger. Anger-based anger. Anger as anger could ever anger.
I was furious.
Yeah, I was the epitome of rage. And I felt so powerful and so weak by it at the same time. You know what though, like that anger that I felt in early recovery, it got me through some days, man. It was just like, okay, I am fucking pissed, and I am just gonna eat everything and watch reruns of the Kardashians for 3 days straight, you know, and then get my ass into a meeting. Oh, I might be lucky if I can shower in between that time as well. Like, holy crap.
I was unable to sit still, and to a degree. In fact, I'm still unable to sit still. And is this just my ADHD, or is this my addiction of being unable to sit with myself? I think probably a bit of both.
I think a bit of both.
Yeah,
you know,
completely unable to sit still.
because I suck at like sitting with myself, but I'm not I'm not ADHD as far as I'm aware, anyway.
I reckon you might be.
Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. For me, in early recovery, especially like drying out from like Class A drugs, like I keep saying Class A because
The hard drugs, TM.
From the hard drugs, TM, and from like consistent pipe and needle use, like on the daily for a decade straight, if not longer. I was just so tired. I was so tired and I was so hungry, man. I ate so much, like, and it just like, I don't know, like I'm sure some amphetamine users can relate to that.
I got the munchies when I quit
ya?
smoking weed.
Yeah,
I put on 15 kilos in recovery.
when I stopped smoking weed as well, like I don't know, I'd been smoking weed for that long that I didn't get the munchies anymore while smoking it. It kind of like suppressed my appetite.
Yeah. I just ate one big meal a day.
Yeah, barely that for me sometimes.
Yeah.
I would feel so satisfied when I would be trying to eat a service station muffin. Caught myself there.
Health.
Health. And I would be like, I haven't eaten anything in like 4 days. And I'd be like, yes, that emptiness is power. You are so strong. Look at you. Like, Jesus Christ.
I'm a machine that runs on drugs. Put drugs in, activities come out.
What else is there? What else did we write down? We got confusion. I was like, I couldn't think straight in early recovery.
You want to know confusion?
Yeah.
For my first 3 weeks of NA meetings, I took notes.
No, you are so, that is so cute. That is adorable.
Maybe I have them somewhere.
I would
It
love
would be
to see
really
them.
funny. I'm going to share my notes.
Yes.
And it's so hard to take notes in an NA meeting because everybody who shares something different. So I'm just frantically scribbling down. Everyone would have just been like, yep, it's another newcomer. And I remember somebody laughing when I pulled my journal out and started writing. They were laughing. I was just like, what? Like, I'm taking this very seriously. I want to get clean. I want to stay clean. I'm going to learn what everybody has to say.
I love that. That's adorable. And that just shows your willingness, you know?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm so willing. And also mania. Let's talk about mania.
Yeah, okay. I think you've got more to say on that one than I do.
Get fucked. You're manic as well.
I am so manic. Yeah.
We're still, we thought we were supposed to be these calming, sort of positive role models in this podcast, and welcome back to the Recovery Cast, and now we're just going to get you to practice your spiritual program. It's like, no, that's not what we need. We need someone to relate and share a little bit of that kind of chaos. And it's, I see now in hindsight that juicy gossip of like, oh, you did that, that's gross, You disgusting human being.
Tasty morsel of depravity.
Yeah. It's kind of, I don't know. It's like those videos on the internet of people popping pimples, and it's like, it's so gross, but I just can't stop watching.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. So maybe that's what we need to do here. Mania. So we can share our mania here with you, and you can benefit from that somehow. I don't know.
Yeah. I can be manic as fuck, sometimes I can't sit in my skin, and I'm like, it's literally like, if I don't do something and I don't exercise this emotional build up inside of me, I'm going to implode, and everything's going to
implode.
Yeah, everything is going to fucking burst into flames, man. I'm taking the whole world out with me. And my mania.
And this is in recovery. This is not you. This is
this is recovery that I'm talking about. My mania also manifests in a way of just not knowing how to just chill. Just shut the fuck up, Alexis, and chill. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to do something. Oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God, Instagram. Oh my God, Instagram. Oh my God, Instagram for the fucking fourth time in 15 minutes, got to find something else to do. I'm going to be on my phone while I've got TV on in the background, while I'm having 3 or 4 different conversations.
And eating Doritos.
Eating
or whatever.
Salt and vinegar chips for me, thanks. Thinly sliced.
Do you ever eat so many salt and vinegar chips if you get the crinkle cut ones that it cuts your mouth up and the vinegar gets inside the... And it's like...
No fucking regrets. No regrets.
Well, we're addicts. We're like, it's so bad, but it's so good.
This is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. Well, that's... Yeah, and that smoothly segues us into no coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
And maybe Instagram and salt and vinegar chips plays a very healthy role in your recovery. I mean, get off your high horse and say that that's what you do in early recovery.
It's what I do now.
I ate 3 bowls of pasta and half a litre of ice cream yesterday.
Hell yeah. That's the kind of life I'm about as well,
And I tried to, I went to smart recovery meetings to try and learn a little bit more about other kinds of recovery programs and what's on offer at Hills and Ranges Private. And I went in there and I was like, I have a problem with overeating, and that cunning, baffling addiction. I'm still, still on the food, relapsed on the food. But, I'm clean. So, yeah, we need to work. Something tells me that we need to work on these behaviors, because you can't just play a game of whack-a-mole with your addiction.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the way that it manifests itself is really cunning as well.
Oh,
we
it
talked about that
sucks.
before. We'll
It
continue
sucks.
to talk about it.
Yeah, I think that's what my life is today, is just I'm clean, but my behaviors are just coming out sideways, and I'm trying to just sit there with that mallet and whack that addiction as it comes up. And, it's really, really difficult, because anything that I like, I will use to excess,
Yeah, we were talking about this on our little lunch break.
Yeah.
About how no matter what it is, we take it and we just absolutely annihilate it, and there's not like this balance. There's not this ability to just enjoy something for what it is, and in like measured, consistent amounts. It's
I'm
like,
going to have a couple of pieces of chocolate before bed. We sit in bed with 5 packs of chocolate and Jabba the Hutt that shit.
I'm
Yeah.
Oh, yuck. Yes, no, 100%. That freaks me. Jabba the Hutt freaks me out so bad. When I was a kid, I saw that movie and it scared me, because I was like, he's that worm guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't do just a few bits of chocolate. I have to do the whole block. I specifically buy the smaller tubs of like coconut, ice cream, just so that I can be,
Not
this,
eat 3 liters of it.
No,
Yeah.
well, I'll smash the whole tub of it, 350 to 500 mils, but I'm like, it's just that amount, that's okay. That's my justification. Absolutely.
It's the same. It's like what you go to the supermarket and you get the small one. That was like me with my dealer of, I'll just get this much. Now, and then that time where you go for the bigger amount, you go for and he looks at you and you're like, yes.
Exposed, yeah.
It's funny that my name's Oliver, because I used to go back to him and say, please, sir, can I have some more? I mean, yeah, it's a very fitting name for an addict.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that before.
Oh, I saw a meme of it and I was like, gee, I was teased with that all the way through school and kindergarten, and I didn't even think about that in addiction. I'm like, wow, yeah, totally.
Missed opportunity there, man.
Yeah, and he's like, more? More?
You want more?
You were here this morning and you want more? Yeah. Oh, well.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. We were supposed to talk about what to expect in early recovery. I think early recovery can be very chaotic.
Yeah.
The main thing to do is to
what we're
hang
trying
on
to get
tight and let yourself be sort of, I don't know. I thought I knew it all, I think, in my active addiction, but when I got into early recovery, I realized I didn't know shit.
Nothing. Yeah.
And I had to be taught, and I had to be shown, and I had to have those suggestions, and I took them seriously because, like we said before, I was willing, and I think that's how I got through, and I think maybe same for you, I guess, but you're also incarcerated, so...
Yes, yeah.
I mean, not that you can't use inside.
I chose not to.
But
I didn't want to play that game at all. I was I'm just going to surrender. It was the ultimate form of surrender for me. Mind you, though, I think I have shared here as well, like I had stuff waiting for me at home, and as soon as I was released, the first thing I did, I paced around my living room, and then I went down to my bedroom and I got on, and then I regretted it so much, and I spent 4 days up and off my head and was just like, this has to stop, and then I got myself into NA. However, like I know that what we're trying to talk about here is that it's okay to be fucking chaotic in early recovery. Yeah. These things are going to come up and they're going to change every minute, every hour, every day. It's not consistent, and it's okay for you to be a mess. Like, it's okay to not be okay. You just got to stick it out, ride it out, man. Ride it out how you wrote out the withdrawals, and you're going to be okay. 1,000%.
Yeah. You just
Get
have
supported.
To reach out.
Double up on ice cream.
Reach out and
smash
ice cream's okay.
Yeah, smash the reruns of the trashiest reality TV. Like whatever you need to do, yeah.
And totally do what you got to do. Just get through.
Rest and recover your body and mind. Like,
now I'm trying to. Oh, here it is. And if you're unsure or you need to speak to someone, then get on the phone to Hills and Ranges Private 1-800-422-711. Everybody there has lived experience. David from admissions is an incredible man who is often the first port of call for people who ring up Hills and Ranges Private. And or you can just jump on www.rehab.melbourne and find out a little bit more. There's a whole lot of information available on the website. So yeah, thank you. Thanks, Alexis.
thanks, Ollie. Bye.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Take it easy. Whether you're in early recovery or not, it's tough. But we're here for you and we will all get there together. My addiction's playing jump rope in the backyard. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Recovery Cast. For more, visit us at www.rehab.melbourne.